The last few weeks have been turbulent, at least from a communications standpoint. For Kenyans who are already dealing with a lot, they were further subjected to a verbal carpet bombing styled as truth-telling. And without a hint of irony, the battle slogan was, "You are used to being lied to. We shall tell you the truth." Now, the first shot of the supposed truth went for the circumstances Kenyans are living in. They are global, not local, Kenyans were told. Well, let's assume that is accurate. For a nation in its 60th year of self-determination, a country of leaders that often proclaim, "We are Africans, and Africa is our business. We are sovereign," etc. Why the sudden passing of the buck from local to global? If our problems are global, and as we have been told recently, out of our control, then pray tell, who should we seek answers from? President Biden? UN Secretary General Guterres? Or perhaps we should try the UK Prime Minister. After all, they are our former colonial masters. And what's more, Mr. Rishi Sunak has some Kenyan roots. And yes, how about requesting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to take a minute off his war with Russia to discuss our global problem? You see, Kenyans are well aware of what is going on around them. We are the ones living through those effects of all that goes around us. We know there is a war between Russia and Ukraine that has affected the supply of grain foods that we serve on our plates every day. We also know that Kenya does not produce her own oil, and there are no known oil deposits in our estate backyards. Kenyans are good global citizens. They see what is happening with the shilling versus the dollar exchange rate. We are businessmen and women, and we know the struggle of acquiring dollars to import the goods we sell. We therefore understand how that exchange rate would pose challenges in purchasing fuel products. We know this. We know all of it. So it must upset many Kenyans when leaders speak to them in a condescending tone, of a kind spared only for some kindergarten truants. Folks, Kenya is blessed with some of the most well-informed populations on earth. So, the obvious brigade owes Kenyans some respect. Do not insult their intelligence. Kenyans know, for example, how KRA has struggled to meet its revenue targets even long before the COVID pandemic struck. The same Kenyans have long raised issue with the rising debt for over 10 years now. Kenyans know much about Eurobond and how it remains one of the most unaccountable lines in the government books. What about the SGR? We got it at over 3 times its initial budget, and we got half of it. Kenyans know Ethiopia built a longer, cheaper SGR line and an electric one, no less. So spare Kenyans the insults of the so-called difficult truths. Kenyans know a lot. Kenyans are very well informed. Do not forget for a moment, wajinga waliisha Kenya. And there is only one truth to be faced today. Governments are elected not to eloquently explain problems, but to provide solutions. And of note to governments, problems don't care about geography. They can be local or global, or indeed both. Now get down to work and do what governments are supposed to do. That's my take tonight.